Hello, welcome back to the Lake District National Park. Today I have come to one of my favourite places in the lakes, Buttermere. So today we are going to be doing, in my opinion, the best hike in the Lake District. And I know that is a very bold statement and a lot of people have a different opinion to me, but Buttermere holds an extremely special place in my heart. And today's hike is an absolute beauty. You can see the sun has just hit the tops of the surrounding mountains. And what a beautiful morning it is. So we're forecasted sunshine pretty much all day. There's a bit of cloud hanging about at the minute, but I think that is going to burn off. I've had quite a few plans to come here over the past few months, but the weather just hasn't turned up. And I really wanted to save this route for a crystal clear, sunny day. So we're doing a 16-kilometre route, and I'm currently heading up to one Scale Beck, which is quite a steep ascent. And then when we get to the Bothy, just above there, we're going to turn to the right and head over to Haystacks. And Haystacks was Alfred Wainwright's favourite Wainwright, and you'll see why, because the views up there are stunning. I did a wild camp up there about 6 or 7 months ago now, sort of at the beginning of summer, and it was a beautiful night, so I highly recommend going to watch that video if you want some more Buttermere action after this video. And then from there we are going to head up to High Crag, which is just there, and let me show you on here. Haystacks is just here, and then we're going to drop down, walk along this ridge, and then there's a really steep ascent up to High Crag here. And then once we make it up to High Crag, we're going to head over to High Style, and then over to Red Pike, which is over in the distance. And then we'll drop down to Buttermere Lake and we'll walk on the edge of it back up to the car. So it is a beautiful route. A lot of the route is spent up high up on the ridge line, looking over the surrounding fells, and you just met with endless beautiful views on this route. And like I was saying, this place holds a very special place in my heart because my mum and dad used to come here a lot, and my mum is no longer with us, so this is a place that I can come to and I just feel very connected to her here. And yeah, it's just a place to come and reflect and just have a beautiful day out in the hills. So I am really looking forward to bringing you all along today and showing you why I love this place so much, because it really is a stunning part of the Lake District. And if you ever get the chance to come to Buttermere, I really would recommend it. You don't have to do this massive walk that I'm doing today. There's a completely flat walk almost that goes around the whole of the lake, or you can just walk up to the lake and just take in the stunning views. And look at the sunshine coming out now. It is going to be a stunning day. So I'm really excited and I'm going to crack on. So I'm going to show you all of the views. I'll be catching up with you throughout the route as always. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and giving it a watch. You're in for a special one, so enjoy it, and I will catch up with you probably when I'm up towards the Haystacks area, and up there we will be greeted with an amazing view. So I've just made it up above one scale bothy, and just as I got to the bothy, the sun finally came out. When we caught up at the beginning of the video, it looked like the sun was hitting the tops of the mountains and it was going to really come out and light up the valley, but a band of this sort of cloud came over and blocked the sun, and it's still fighting to get through now. But just as I got up here, the sun came out and wow, just greeted with the most beautiful of views. And all the way along this section of footpath now, you keep on getting beautiful snippets of the view down the valley, and it is just beautiful. And there's not a breath of wind up here, and you can see the sun is directly over Great Gable. You can probably just see the silhouette of it with the sun sat right behind it. And by the time I get all the way over to Red Pike, it won't be too far off sunset, I imagine. Full intentions of being down in the valley before it goes pitch black. I've got my head torch and everything with me just in case though. This section of footpath, I don't know what it is about it, but I just love it. It winds in and out of little outcrops of rock. You can see the ridge line where we're heading to over there, over towards High Crag. And just in front of us here is the summit of Haystacks. And there's a few beautiful little tarns up here as well. So I'm going to head over to a little viewpoint over here that I know of. It's a little bit off the main footpath, but I'm going to take you over here just so you can see. Also, there is a cloud inversion at the end of the valley. Looking down to Melbrake, there is cloud covering the whole of the valley over there, and you can see it's all over the sea as well, heading up towards Scotland. I'm going to bring you to this little viewpoint, which is a viewpoint that I've wanted to plonk my tent on a few times, but it's always been a bit too windy because it's very exposed. You can see directly in front of me, this summit here is called Fleetwith Pike, and you may be wondering why I haven't gone up there today, because you can go up the face of it just from pretty much from where I parked my car, but I'm saving that Wainwright to be my final Wainwright. I'm currently, I think I've got 20 left to do, but I'm saving Fleetwith as my final Wainwright. Oh wow. So I've just got up to this little viewpoint and I'm going to show you the view in a second. Just getting to the best part of it. Stunning. So as I was saying, you can see all the way down to the end of the valley, and there's a cloud inversion over Crummock Water, and this summit here is called Melbrake. It'd be awesome up there right now. It would be beautiful on Ranadale Knots right now as well. It looks like it's almost coming in, this cloud inversion actually. So this little peak here is called Ranadale Knots, and then you've got Grassmore here, and then you can see all the way over, I think that's Eel Crag poking out there, and you've got Robinson here, Fleetwith Pike here, just behind here is Dale Head, and then swinging over to the left we're looking at the fells that we're going up today. So you've got Haystacks here, and then this ridgeline here has got High Crag, High Style and Red Pike on it, which are all Wainwright summits that we're going to today. So if you've never been in this part of the Lake District before, you'll now see why this is one of my favourite places in the whole of the UK, or even the world. I mean, it is just simply beautiful. And that cloud inversion is starting to come down the valley, even just as I've got here, started working its way in, so maybe that's going to come down further into the valley. Wow. So I'm going to carry on to Haystacks now. As I was just leaving that viewpoint, the cloud down the valley started to make its way further in towards Buttermere, so we might be in for an incredible cloud inversion for the rest of the day, which, if that happens, I'm gonna lose my mind, because that was not forecasted at all today, and it will make this place look even more incredible than it already does. But I'm still very glad that you've been able to see the Buttermere Lake, so if it does get covered by cloud, you have seen that view. But I think by the time we make it over to Haystacks, which will only take about 15-20 minutes, I think it's going to look very different down that valley. So I need to get moving. I'm already doing what I said I wasn't going to do, and that was messing around with the camera and taking photos, but I will continue up to Haystacks now. very close to the summit of Haystacks here now, and I know it won't look very good on the GoPro because of where the sunshine is, but that view there, looking down the valley right up to Great Gable, it's just beautiful. And this is a section of the route where it gets a little bit scrambly, more technical, and you just have to be a little bit careful. There are some easier little footpaths that lead around the more technical rocky outcrop bits, but when we come off Haystacks there is quite a technical descent to get down there, so we have to be careful on that bit. Had to take a layer off because there just isn't a breath of wind. It said there was going to be 20-mile-an-hour winds potentially today, but yeah, no sign of that whatsoever, which I'm really not complaining about. It's one of those days where if you just stand really quietly, all you can hear is the sound of the rivers. Down in the valleys, and it just, there's something about that sound that cannot be replicated through earphones or through a sound system. It is just nature in its almost rawest form, and no matter how you're feeling, it's going to make you feel a little bit better listening to that. Oh wow, this is a special day, and I'm hoping it's about to get even more special when we hit the top of the summit here. Now, it has rained a lot the past few days, so it's quite slippy as well on the rocks, so I need to be a little bit careful of that. And now, basically at the summit, there's a few little points on Haystacks that are very similar heights, so I think there is a little cairn. Oh wow, oh wow. That is one of the best views I think I've ever seen in the Lake District. Let's get up here and have a proper look. You can even see a slight Brocken spectre. Wow, this is a special, special day. You can see down into the Ennerdale Valley, and there's not a cloud inversion at all down there, so we've got really lucky here. I've made my way a little bit further along Haystacks. As I was saying, this is Alfred Wainwright's favourite hill in the Lake District, and you can see why it was his favourite. And there's a beautiful tarn over here which I'll quickly show you. And we'll head over to this little outcrop here and continue to take in that stunning cloud inversion view. Wow, it almost looks like it's got even better in the past 15-20 minutes. Wow, it's just insane. Waited so long for a day like this up in Buttermere. And you can see now High Crag has just started to get a bit of cloud on it. Wind has also picked up a little bit, so yeah, I'm not going to hang around here for too long. Wow, that is probably the best view I've ever seen in the lakes. Like I said, I've been waiting for that perfect day to film this video, and I was not expecting to get a cloud inversion, so incredible. Anyway, I've just spent way too long taking pictures and messing around with the camera and stuff. I've never seen a cloud inversion in Buttermere, and I've seen very few photos of people getting one either, so I think it's quite a rare occurrence. It looks like it's just come over from the sea. That's what's happened today. Like I was saying, Ennerdale Valley, which is literally just to the left of it, hasn't got any cloud in it at all, which is really strange. So we just completely lucked out. Wow, so lucky. So like I said, we're going up to High Crag, then High Style, then Red Pike. I'll catch up with you when I get up onto that ridge, and hopefully the inversion will still be in the valley. So I've just made it to the top of High Crag. It's a very steep ascent, but quite a nice switchback path. It's a little bit loose underfoot, and we're now at 744 meters up here. And we're surrounded by this really sort of light clag that keeps on blowing in and out. But you can just about make out the view down in the valley. The cloud inversion is still very much down there. It's just stunning the whole way up. I just had to keep turning around to have a look at the view. So I've just stopped for a second because I'm going to layer up, even though I'm really hot right now after that ascent. There is a couple of little climbs left, but nothing crazy. But I'm just going to put a synthetic insulated layer on just to take the chill off, because it's very surprising how quick you cool down on a day like today, because it is, I think, something like 1 or 2 degrees today up here. So all that sweat on me is going to cool off really quickly. So it's good to get a layer on before you get cold. Just as I look down to the valley, it's cleared up quite nicely, and right in front of us is Fleetwith Pike, and we've parked the car just around the corner in this little valley here. So this morning we came around here and along this footpath here and up to Warn Scale Bothy, over to Haystacks, and we've just made it up to High Crag. Oh, there we go. It's really nicely cleared up for us. Wow. Right in front of us here you can see Robinson, and that is Dale Head there. I think this one here is called Hinscarth, and the clag is sort of coming back in now. So now that I've made up here, we've done a large majority of the ascending. So I've done 924 meters, I think we will get up to about 1-2, 1-3 by the end of the day, because we still have a couple of small climbs up to the other two Wainwrights along here. So I'm heading over to High Stile now, and then I'll be over to Red Pike. So I thought Red Pike was the highest of the day, but it's not. High Stile is the highest at 807 meters. And as I'm walking over here, you can see in front of me, we're very much in the clag now, and I know from past experience it is quite difficult to navigate some of this ridge line, as it does widen out a little bit in places, so you just need to be very careful if you are coming up here. Bring a map and compass for weather like this. I've got the OS Maps app on my phone as well, which is fantastic, but you can't rely on it. I say this in every single video. Sorry if I'm boring you if you're a regular viewer, but it's important for me to say. It's hard to make out with the clag, but we follow this ridge and there's quite a big steep drop off to the right. But up here is High Stile, and that'll be the highest summit of the day, as we just discovered. I'm looking down to the right now. The view is opened up again. What a day it would be to be on Rannerdale Knot, and that's a really nice sort of smaller Wainwright. It's where all the bluebells grow in the spring. It would be incredible up there today, wouldn't it? You feel like you're floating above the clouds. Always goes to show that it's not just about going up into the high fells where you get the good views. The lower down fells as well are equally as beautiful and have stunning views in a different way. And I was saying in my last video as well about Lingmore and the Langdale Valley, fantastic Wainwright with fantastic views. I very, very cheekily just sent a photo to one of my work colleagues, Nathan. So if you're watching this, I'm really sorry, Nathan. I'm seeing them all later because we're going out for a curry tonight. But he replied with one word, and it's a word that I am not going to repeat on the YouTube channel. So yeah, sorry Nathan. Oh, look at that now. Really opened up. Wow, look at that. Right, we can see a lot better now on the ridge, so that's where we've just come from, and this is the view you get from the top. Wow, that opened up so quickly. So I've been very focused on the view down to our right today, but the view down to our left, so this whole valley down here is the Ennerdale Valley, and you've got Ennerdale Water down at the end, which we might be able to see very soon. But that valley down there is stunning, and the fells on the other side, so you've got Kirkfell, Pillar, they're very big fells over there. They're part of the Western Fells. A lot of them you either access from Ennerdale, but it's a really big day out, or you can go from Wasdale, which is the place where a lot of people go to summit Scarfell Pike. And I explored a lot of the Western Fells for the first time this summer just gone, and I fell in love with them, and it's a place that I really want to go back to. And just as I said that, the view has opened up down this valley. As you can see, no cloud inversion down this valley, which is crazy. But that down there, that's called Ennerdale Water. For those of you that have watched the channel for a couple of years, you might remember I did a hike across the whole width of the Lake District, and I started down at Ennerdale Water and came along here, and I camped up at Red Pike, which was one of the best few days I've ever had out in the mountains. It was wall-to-wall sunshine, and yeah, an incredible experience to be able to hike across the Lake District in those conditions. But one of my favourite parts was the first day, walking through the Ennerdale Valley. You feel just kind of in the middle of nowhere. You feel like you're in sort of true wilderness, which is hard to find in the Lake District, because although we have beautiful mountains and beautiful views, a lot of the time you are very close to sort of roads and towns and villages, whereas Ennerdale is a bit more out there and a bit more remote. And I just love it down there. I remember having a swim in the river down there. I came out, saw a red squirrel, which are quite rare to see in the lakes, and didn't see a soul all day. Camped up on Red Pike, and it just felt like I was in the middle of nowhere, just experiencing some raw nature. So I highly recommend going to Ennerdale as well. This whole part of the Lake District is just, it's got my heart. Very, very weird that we haven't got the cloud inversion on this side of the valley though. It must just purely be the direction of the wind maybe. It's really weird, because that opens up to the coast as well down that valley. Another really cool thing about Ennerdale is there's actually a couple of youth hostels down there, which is hard to believe because there's no main road or anything. There is a track which I think goes to the first hostel. Yeah, it's a YHA. They're both owned by YHA, I think. But there's YHA Ennerdale, which is more like your traditional youth hostel. You know, it's got all the amenities and everything, and that's a beautiful place to stay. But then further up the valley is Black Sail, and that is basically an off-grid hostel. You can only walk to it, and it's very popular for people doing the coast to coast, as it sits on the coast to coast route. So a lot of people do that and stay there. It's quite expensive to stay there, I believe. A very magical place, and there is so many different ways to experience this part of the Lake District. As I was saying earlier, you can just park your car up down in Buttermere or down at Ennerdale and just do a little flat walk to the water if you just want to take it all in. There's a beautiful bus ride actually from Keswick over to Buttermere, so you don't even need a car. It's a really good bus service. I think it's like £3 for all fares, and it's probably the most picturesque bus journey in the country, because the road runs right along the valley, goes up to Honister Slate Mine, and yeah, you can experience some of this even from a bus. So I think this is a good place to put the camera back down and make our way over to Haystacks and Red Pike. I'm sorry if I've said the words absolutely stunning about 100 times today, but it is genuinely absolutely stunning. I'm kind of lost for words really to describe the beauty of that view today. So I will catch up with you probably when I'm coming down off Red Pike, or maybe on the summit. We'll see how we're getting on. Oh, what a day. So I'm just descending off the final Wainwright of the day, Red Pike, and this is probably the last time we're going to get a really good view looking all the way down the valley towards the sea. You can see Melbrake just in front of me here, and then beneath all of that cloud in the valley is Crummock Water, and you've got Ranadell Knots to the right of it. What a view. In the past half an hour or so, the cloud level has dropped massively, and I actually think by the time we get down to Buttermere, it'll probably potentially all be gone. Just the craziest 4 or 5 hours. You can see that it's not just in this valley, so looking directly down here you can see Blencathra, Skiddaw, so Keswick, which sits just over here, and I can see over there it's dropping as well because it looked a lot higher earlier. So it's like this northwest patch of the Lake District got an incredible cloud inversion today. And I just saw a photo of someone else out in the lakes, and they were over in the Eastern Fells, and no cloud inversion or anything whatsoever. That was just everything I could have asked for today. I am so unbelievably happy and grateful to have been able to get out in these sort of conditions. Incredible views, and the clag that was sitting on top of the ridge that I've just walked along seemed to pretty much disappear for the second half of it, and everything has really settled down again. And yeah, now descending back down into Buttermere. So an incredible day out in the fells above Buttermere so far, and like I was saying, I'm descending back down into Buttermere now, and today has been all about positivity. Everything has felt really good. However, we'll have a tiny little negative moment about this descent because this is definitely in my top 10 least favourite descents. It is brutal, to put it politely. That section there coming off Red Pike is really loose rock. It's like a big scree slope, and luckily today it was quite consolidated because we've had a lot of rain, so it was really packed down. It was still not very nice, and when it is dry the rock is even loose, and oh yeah, it's horrible. You feel like you're just constantly going to slip all the way down, so you need to be very careful on that bit. This bit I'm on now isn't as bad. It's a bit more stepped and rocky, but whew, it hits the knees hard, and it is basically like this all the way back down into Buttermere now. So you're looking at about 700 meters of descending on these rocky slabs, but it is quite a direct route, so shouldn't take too long. And I do really need to get a move on because I'm going to miss this meal I'm supposed to be going to this evening if I carry on at the rate I'm going. Once I get down to Buttermere, it's a really nice flat path back around the lake, back to the car. So I will show you the remaining of the route back down into the valley, because it is still very beautiful. There's still lots of scenic views, and once we get over this little lip in front of me, which you can see just here, we will get another really nice view looking down the valley. So I will continue to show you that, but I think this might be the last time that I talk with you all. Like I was saying early on, this whole area holds a very special place in my heart for many reasons, and days like today just, oh yeah, it feels good. I don't open up at all in my videos. I keep things to myself, but sometimes I think it is important to share. And yeah, the last month has been hard, and it always is Christmas, and my mum was the heart of Christmas in my house. She always made it so special, and I have nothing but incredible memories growing up, and I was so lucky to have that growing up. And like I was saying earlier on, she's no longer with us, and getting out in the fells today, oh, it just gives me a nice chance to think about her and reflect on everything. And I'm not saying it cures anything, because it doesn't. It doesn't cure grief, and it doesn't cure, you know, feeling bad or anything like that, but you think about things clearer and you feel a bit lighter. And when I get back down to the valley to my car, and this goes for anything in life, any sort of stress, any grief, any problems, anything that's going wrong in your noggin, when I get back to my car, I know I'm going to feel a little bit lighter and a little bit better about things. And that's why I do this. You know, I love the fells, I love the views, I love being outside, I love the exercise, I love it all. But one of the things I love the most is how all the noise in your life, all the background noise, all that stress, all the stuff which everyone goes through that we have to deal with, it just disappears into the background for a little while. And whoa, man, it feels good. It feels good to be able to do that, and I feel unbelievably grateful and privileged to be able to get out into these fells. And I understand that not everyone has access to them, like myself, and there isn't a day that goes by that I don't feel grateful for that. I guess the moral of this story is that no matter where you are, what you're doing, if you're going through a bad stage in your life, or you're just struggling or anything like that, getting outside, even if that's just walking around your block, going to your local park, just breathing some fresh air, yeah, I guarantee you'll feel a little bit better than you did before. Guarantee you. And it's how I have got through this past few years, and it's how I will continue to go through life. Is the outdoors will always be my therapy. It will always be the place I go to. For a year or so after my mum passed away and it was lockdown, so it was just worst timing possible, I didn't get outside much at all, and I didn't do those things. Believe it or not, I lived on the edge of the Peak District, and I probably went about once in the space of a whole year, which is crazy to think. But I was in such a bad place that I didn't want to do any of that. I didn't want any of it. But after going just once, and you can go back and watch my first ever YouTube video, which is a walk in the Peak District around Chatsworth up into Beeley Moor, and that was pretty much the first hike I did by myself in the Peak District after my mum passed away. It was winter. I was working at Amazon warehouse, night shifts, working as a picker where you don't talk to anyone all day. And I remember just having this thought of, I need to do something, I need to change something. I had a little old vlogging camera that I'd barely used, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go out and film a YouTube video. I needed something, I needed a purpose to get out. I couldn't just go for a walk. It didn't seem like there wasn't enough there for me. I thought, you know what, let's go start a YouTube channel, and that's how I started this YouTube channel. So I am going to film a more in-depth video on that, but yeah, you can go back and watch that first video, and I look back at that video and I can just see it in my eyes. I can see it just in my face that I wasn't happy. And fast forward 5 or 6 years, I still struggle with things, still struggle with life and stresses and grief and all of that, but I feel so much lighter and I feel so much happier because I push myself on a weekly basis to get outside and breathe some fresh air. So we've gone a little bit deep there, but if you're struggling at this time of year, I just want you to know that you're absolutely not alone, and there are people to talk to as well. It's not just getting outside that helps. Talking to people really helps. And if you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to, I've been there, then there are some great helplines. I'll leave some links in the description below, and there's many things that we can do to feel a little bit lighter. I don't know where all that has come from, but it feels like the right time to talk about it. So with all that being said, I'm going to put the camera down now. Just a couple more boring bits. They're not boring, but they're important. This route I've done today is quite a technical route. There's quite a lot of technical ground, requires some hands-on sections, lots of loose rocks, scrambly bits. It's one of those walks where I would definitely recommend having some experience on more technical ground and mountains before you head out on this walk. And like I was saying earlier on, you are spoilt for choice with walks in this area. Walk around the lake, then do Ranadale Knots, then maybe go up to Warnscale Bothy, then maybe do Fleetwith Pike from Honister Pass, and then you can slowly work your way up. And yeah, there's something for everyone around here. I will leave this route in the description, as I always do. It'll take you directly to the OS Maps website where you can download the GPX file yourself. Use that route as a guide and get familiar with a map. Get it plotted out on a map beforehand and get familiar with the route yourselves before you head out. And in the description below will be a video of everything I've got in my bag today and all the layers that I brought with me today, because I've done 2 videos talking about that, so I'd highly recommend going and watching them as well. So that's the admin done. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's going to be the last one before, if you celebrate it, Christmas, and also before New Year. Wow, what a 2025 we've had. Been a bit up and down with the consistency of videos, but the channel has grown and grown, and that is only because of you guys. Thank you so much for all the support. You have no idea how much all of the love I get in the comments, all of the lovely messages I get, and all the people I've met out in the hills and where I work this year. I've met a lot of people, watch the videos, and honestly, you're just all legends, just all such nice people, and it genuinely drives me every day to continue making YouTube videos for you all. And hopefully 2026 is going to be a big year for the channel, and I'm going to continue making videos for you all. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world, all the love and support. And I will continue to show you the views for the rest of the route, because I'm currently walking towards the most beautiful view of Grassmoor. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.